Razabani Spiteful TV in association with MTK Global. With me in the Wembley bubble, Chris Billam-Smith. Chris, firstly, how are we doing?
Yeah, very well, thanks, mate. Yourself?
I'm good. Not many fighters generally ask how the interviewer is doing, so I appreciate you asking me. I know you were in fight camp in the bubble there. How are you finding the bubble here? Any difference? Any more luxuries in Wembley?
Yeah, it seems to be a few more things to do. In the other one, there wasn't a games room as we've got next to us here, or anything like that, and a cinema room or anything like that. But yeah, it's slightly better for sure.
I definitely echo those words as well. It was supposed to be Dion Juma on Saturday night. It's not going to be Dion Juma. How frustrating is it? Because obviously that was a fight that a lot of people were looking forward to. We'll come over to your opponent shortly, but how frustrating is it that you've had to kind of reevaluate the situation?
Yeah, obviously it happened in November originally, and I heard a few rumours that it was a torn retina, so I wasn't sure if it's quite a serious injury, so I wasn't sure if he'd be ready for March, and then you hear a few things on the boxing grapevine as such. So yeah, I've had a feeling he might not be in, and then I think when Eddie posted the fight, he said it was the first he'd heard of it or something like that. So yeah, I thought I was still training for him, and then we found out probably 6-7 weeks ago now that it wasn't going to be him. Frustrating, but career goes on, life goes on, and I've got a decent opponent on Saturday night.
How does that kind of affect the mental aspect of training camp when you're focusing on one fighter, bringing in sparring, working on techniques, etc., and then all of a sudden it's a change of opponent, someone completely different, a complete different style? How's that from a mental perspective, trying to adapt? Yeah,
I mean, you focus on a date, that's the main thing. It's about getting fit and sharp and working on things all the time in the gym, whether it's a certain opponent. I'm still developing a lot as a fighter as well, so there's plenty of learning to be done in the gym. So it didn't affect it too much. Obviously in the end we had to get in different sparring partners. I had some southpaw, some orthodox sparring, because I wasn't sure if I was fighting a southpaw or an orthodox. Even when we got in different, we knew it wasn't Dion, could have been a southpaw or orthodox, so I had different sparring partners, which has probably helped me develop as a fighter. But yeah, I'm in good shape for Saturday night.
Vasil Ducar, what do you know about him?
He was out in Latvia sparring Maurice Breedis with me when we were out there about a year ago now, just over a year ago. So, but I've also watched him. He's tough, he's strong, he can bang. He's got 8 knockouts in 9 of his wins. He's only lost to some really good world level guys. So I'm expecting a tough night on Saturday. But I've got to be disciplined and take my time, and hopefully I can break him down and take him out. But if not, it'll have to be a wide points win.
Did you spar him?
No, he actually, to be fair to him, he did ask me if I wanted to spar. I said, yeah, we'll spar. But I was like, you better ask them, because we're over here to spar them, not each other. And they were like, no, Breedis' team wouldn't let us, which was fair enough. Would have been handy, knowing now that we were going to fight each other. But we didn't get to spar each other then. But we'll be clashing on Saturday night.
I spoke to him earlier and I said to him, what do you make of Chris? And he said, he's a great guy. I would love to have a beer with him after the fight. He's a true gentleman, but he doesn't really, I don't quote the exact words he used, I can't remember, but he said something in the lines of, you don't have the grit, you're not a effing bastard when it comes to the ring, basically.
Well, he'll find out on Saturday night. I'm very much a different man in the ring than I am out the ring. It's you got to be bipolar in this sport to be like that, and that's how I feel I am. I think as soon as my hands are wrapped and I'm warming up, I'm a spiteful person, and you ask any of my previous opponents and they'll tell you that.
Chris, normally when you become an athlete, become a boxer, you tend to have those kind of learning fights. You get to 12, 13, 14, 15 fights and you start slowly stepping up. Eddie's made it very, very clear that there's no tune-up fights, there's no warm-up fights, there's 50-50 fights. So with that in mind, what are your ideal goals now for 2021? You're fighting relatively early, it's March, you're going to get one fight out of the way this year. So what's kind of the goal by the end of the year or the next 18 months?
For me, I'd love the European title shot next, or or the British title. But I'd also love to box back home in Bournemouth. My main focus on Saturday night, but over the next 18 months or so is about getting out, being regular, putting in good performances. Really, it's a massive 18 months for me in my career. They shape. We'll know where I'm at within the next 18 months and whether I'll be boxing for world titles or not. And I think that for me is just about climbing up the rankings, putting in good performances, and just putting the graft in the gym.
You've got quite a bubbly group of characters in the gym. It must be a nice feeling.
Yeah, it's good. It's a great crack in the gym. I think Shane sets the standard with that. We have a laugh every day. It makes work easy, even though it is hard work. But then you've got obviously Laurence, who's super confident and a great laugh, as is Fowler, and everyone knows what Fowler's about as well. So it's a good crack in the gym, and we make it enjoyable as it can be. The pain we get put through.
Richard Reeker, I've spoken to him a number of times over the last couple of months. Obviously, that was your only defeat. It was a close fight. Is that something that you want to avenge in the near future?
Yeah, look, if the fight gets offered to me, I'll take it in a click of a finger. But I can't see it being. We might end up meeting down the line, but I'll take that fight next for sure. But I've said that fight and that quote unquote loss is not going to define my career. My career goes well beyond that fight, but it'd be great to have a rematch at some point in the future and avenge the loss.
Let's talk about your stablemate, Laurence Okolie. 15 fights, 15 wins. He's setting the benchmark for a lot of fighters in terms of the number of fights he's having before he's going to the top. He's done everything: the British, the Commonwealth, the European, the world title. Glowacki, does he pose him a big threat?
Does Glowacki pose Laurence a big threat? Yeah, for sure. If you look who Glowacki's lost to, and there's some pretty good names, in Breedis, and he lost to Usyk as well, didn't he? So they're good fighters. They're very, very well, the world's best fighters at the time. So when he's boxed them in the division, but I believe Laurence is going to be that. So I think on Saturday night, as good as Glowacki is, he's style-wise, he's perfect for Laurence. He comes in, bowling in, wide shots. He's not really like a straight down the pipe sort of fighter. And I think, with the wide shots, I think Laurence walks him onto a shot, and I think he gets him out there in the first half of the fight. What's
Laurence like to spar? You must have shared many rounds with him. You're in the same division. He's in a world title that you might want one day as well. So what is he like to spar? Is he as difficult as he seems on TV?
Yeah, I remember watching him as earlier on in his career. He turned pro before I did, but obviously watching him a lot, and a lot of people saying how they were going to beat him easy. Look at Isaac Chamberlain and he's not this good. But they obviously didn't have the eye that I think I did, because I saw all the things, the awkwardness, the effectiveness that he had on. Even when he was holding, it might have been boring in fights. That's hard to get round. And I knew when I did get round to sparring him a few times that he's very effective at what he does. But yeah, you have to. It's great for me because it's great learning. Just from one of the best cruiserweights, if not the best cruiserweight in the world. So I'm very fortunate to have that in my gym, and I think we've progressed each other's careers and ability really well.
Do you want him to move up to heavyweight as soon as possible so those belts can free up for you?
Yeah, look, I think the plan is obviously for him to win Saturday, unify, then move up, and that time will be very nice for me. Because around then that will be within the next 12 to 18 months, and that will be around the time I'll be looking at boxing for world titles. So that suits me perfectly.
Okay, final prediction. Saturday night, are we going to hear the bell at the end, or is it going to go early?
For whose fight? For mine?
For yours.
For my fight. Who knows? Like I said, if he can take the pace and he can take the shots, and we can both punch. So if he comes, wailing in, then he might walk onto one as well. So fingers crossed that we don't hear the final bell. But if it gets to that, I've got plenty in the tank. So I'll be setting a high pace and doing the work on Saturday night.
Chris, I wish you all the best Saturday night. We're sure to catch up with you after the fight. Come out safe, come out well, and all the very best.
Brilliant. Cheers, mate. Thanks.
Chris Billam-Smith for IFL TV. Thank you very much.